Fuck you. That's my name.
Hey, this is Sharks Across Hollywood. We are talking about teen movies because we're talking about probably one of the most quintessential cult classic teen movies of all time, maybe.
I think the only one that could make I think there are two that could make a bid for being better or more culturally significant than this, and that would be Clueless and She's All That.
This is one of the most 90s movies ever. 10 Things I Hate About You.
So fucking 90s.
We open with the Bare Naked Ladies and those color crayon credits, but they're neon.
Yeah.
They're glowing and shit.
Yeah, it's so 90s. The only way it could be more 90s is if it was in like a bleached out Courier font.
It feels timeless enough. Maybe it's because I watched it when I was 12 years old.
Well, it doesn't
for the first
hurt.
time.
But I watched it when I was 20 for the first time, and it has the same effect on me today as it had on me back then. And I just watched it a few weeks ago with my sister.
Oh, really?
And my niece had never seen it.
So when I suggested it, I figured you would be like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here."
Oh no, I love this. I love this movie. I absolutely love it. I watched it a few weeks ago with my sister and my niece and some of the other girls in my family. They wanted to do a romantic movie night, and so we watched The Notebook and we watched 10 Things I Hate About You.
Fucking, which one did you watch first?
We watched The Notebook first.
Good, The Notebook. I used to like it.
Get the fuck out of here! I love The Notebook.
Oh, I used to like it. It is so fucking problematic and
it's
disgusting.
Definitely problematic. We had we talked
God.
about. We were all laughing about that because it's absolutely problematic. Nobody's trying to deny
Back
that.
when I was this romantic shithead, I'm like, fuck yeah, The Notebook is a great movie. I'm like, is it?
It is a great movie. It's just it's like you got to call it what it is.
Shitty.
No.
Not the movie itself. The movie itself is fine.
It's not shitty. It's great, but it it has some problematic attitudes. But that's okay. That art is how we deal with that stuff, and it gives us a forum to talk to. For example, my niece who watched it with us, and we talked about it. We talked about the issues.
That's fair. That's good.
So that she can watch out for them.
I was gonna say, yeah.
She runs into guys.
So when it's never romantic, and you always say no if he decides to let go, that's on him.
Yes,
you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes, but for the generation, also totally checks out. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about 10 Things I Hate About You. So this movie, it had the exact same effect on me this morning because it opens up, like you said, with the sort of neon color crayon opening credits and the Bare Naked Ladies, and I immediately rolled my eyes. I was like, get the fuck out of here with the Bare Naked Ladies. Jesus Christ, right? And what do? They crane down to this to this car full of teenage girls bopping to the Bare Naked Ladies, and then here comes Julia Stiles in her thrashed out roadster,
shitty car,
driving up next to him with Joan Jett playing "I Don't Give a Damn, I'm a Reputation," and
yep,
that's the moment that it gets me every time. I immediately fall in love with Julia Stiles, and I'm like, this is why I love this movie. This movie gets me. It opens with that to dupe you into thinking that that's where it's going, and nope, it's going in a completely different direction. I fucking love it.
That's funny because did you know this was a TV show as well?
I was aware that there was a TV show adaptation. I've never seen it.
I
know it was 10 years later or something like that.
Yeah, 2009, exactly. I thought it would be cute. I thought it'd be fun to just I think I'm going to check it out for a minute. A minute is all it took.
Not for you, eh?
No, I'm like, what the fuck did they do?
Interestingly, it's from the same director.
Why?
I don't know.
Did she have any say? Or they? Them?
It's directed by. It was written by two women.
Okay.
And it was directed by a guy.
My guess is the writers were not involved.
That could be. Yeah, I don't know.
Because Bianca is not popular. She's like the fucking the school mascot. And Chastity is already dating Joey, and Chastity's just a bitch.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of a transition in the movie that I think worked well, but
it worked. Yeah,
it would be a little weird if she started there. Why would were they friends in the show?
And yeah, no, not that I know of. I only watched it for a minute, I said.
All right, maybe that's different. I don't know.
But the one thing that really bothered me is that it looks like, as I'm reading all the synopses for the different episodes, Kat is chasing after Patrick.
Well, maybe they wanted to change the dynamic.
Get
a
the
little
fuck!
bit. I don't know.
That completely fucks up the whole thing. But the dad is played by the same person.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, 10 years doesn't look the same on a middle-aged man as it does on teenagers.
And he looks basically the same, yeah.
Although I will say Julia Stiles pretty much looked the same for at least another 15.
And she's been in a few good movies. I really like It's a Disaster. That was a funny movie.
Oh, It's a Disaster was fantastic. I love that movie.
With that introduction, though, we automatically know who Kat is. Sort of. We learn more,
Well,
obviously, but
We
know that she's
we
like...
get the important thing.
Yeah, she's not like other girls.
Yeah. Back when that still counted
Yeah.
for something. Back before the internet played that out.
But after that intro, we meet Cameron, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Ms. Perky.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is not wrong in this role at all. I don't mean to imply that. I just fucking can't stand his character. In fairness, I didn't like the character in the actual Shakespeare version either.
Okay, oh, by the way, this is based on Shakespeare's play, The Taming of the Shrew, of course.
Yeah, I saw the Zeffirelli version of that movie, and I enjoyed the movie, but I fucking hated that character.
Guess who knows nothing about it? Me, because fuck Shakespeare. William Shakespeare did write a play a long, long time ago about... This is not about some chick named Hermia.
Did you ever read a Shakespeare play, but couldn't understand a word they say?
Because we're all queer. Somebody definitely says that in there. I'll tell you how I feel about Cameron here in a minute, because this scene is really about Ms. Perky being a very bad counselor.
Oh my God. Miss Perky might be my favorite guidance counselor in any movie ever.
Oh, she's hilarious, but
She would be fired so fucking fast nowadays.
Hopefully
Probably
back then,
too. I absolutely love her.
This school's just the same. The same little pieces of shit are at every school. Cameron's like, can you say that? Am I in the right office?
And then she's like, get the fuck out of here. What are you still doing here?
And then immediately Patrick, played by Heath Ledger, in his first American movie.
Yes, this was pretty much all of our, at least in the States, first experience with Heath.
And then,
what had he been in, like Ned Kelly or something like that before that? I'm not sure.
Probably, yeah. And then he went on to like do The Patriot and Brothers Grimm and shit. And then he gets cast as a Joker, and everybody's like, what?
Well, he did a lot of stuff between those, but
he did.
Still,
it was nothing like the Joker, so everybody was.
That's true. Even like Brokeback, when people were,
Brokeback Mountain,
like Academy Award bait, but even that, nobody was prepared for the Joker.
How many times do you get to see the Joker fuck Mysterio?
Only in World's Finest Comics or whatever it is. Whenever they do the Marvel DC crossover, I can't remember what the title of those are.
No, you know what it would really be? It's one of those weird YouTube videos that they made for kids where Spider-Man's like fucking Elsa and the Green Goblin shows up and they give birth to a little Hulk and all that shit.
Yeah, okay. I could buy that.
So he walks into the office and Ms. Perky's like, so you exposed yourself to such and such character? And he's like, no, I didn't really. It was a bratwurst. And he had the bratwurst sticking out of his pants. She looks down at him, goes, aren't we the optimist? Eesh.
Fired.
And then we meet Michael, and also this movie moves so fucking fast. The whole movie, I'm like taking notes, and I'm like, good lord, what the fuck? I look down.
This movie bops right along.
I look down, I'm like, oh shit, we're somewhere else now. Oh fuck, oh god, okay. So we meet Michael, and he's walking Cameron around. So him and Cameron are going to be best friends throughout this, and he's introducing him to all the different groups of the school that don't really do much. You know, the jocks, coffee kids, white Rastas, cowboys, future MBAs.
This is a really, really, really 90s scene. The walking around the high schools, meeting all the cliques.
Yeah, and it's not just like the plastics and the dorks.
And they even updated it for 21 Jump Street. Remember when they're walking around and he's like, "All right, those are the jocks. Are those maybe goths? I don't know. What the fuck are those?" When he sees the weebs.
It's like the Warriors, but in high school.
Yep, pretty much. Everybody's just a cartoon. The Cowboys are lean so hard into the cowboy thing. They even put fake chew in their lips.
Oh my god, it's Big League Chew.
Yeah, probably.
The closest they've ever been to a cow is McDonald's. Am I right? It's because McDonald's, right? Michael's not funny. So the future MBAs, though, they used to be his friends, but Bogey apparently started a rumor that he buys his iZods at an outlet mall.
Bogey Lowenstein, played by a hilarious comedian, Kyle Cease, who my understanding is went on to be a motivational speaker after doing a couple of comedy albums. Yeah, I guess he struggled with depression really bad or
No,
something, and
that
like
would
his
do it.
way of overcoming it was to become a motivational speaker, basically. I don't know if he's still doing that, but that was the last I had heard of him. But I actually really enjoy him. I think he's a very funny comic.
Well, he's really funny in this movie. This is one of those perfectly cast movies.
Yeah,
honestly,
everybody's
yeah.
really right. I mean, even the douchebag, he's such a perfect douchebag. My understanding too is based on an interview or something that the guy who plays Michael gave some years later. He said the entire cast basically had instant chemistry when
Yeah.
they got together, and they all became friends.
I heard that too. And then apparently Heath Ledger was the last one to get cast, and they're all like, I don't know if we want to bring this dude in here. But then he became part of the group almost immediately.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, that's what they said.
I'm like, that's so cool. That makes me very happy.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, and you can really feel the they just all click together so well. Even the ones who are supposed to, not click together. It's just right. Like the antagonist relationship is right. The protagonist relationship is right. The romances are right. The friendships are right. It's all really right.
And the dad, he's perfect.
Oh my God, the dad.
We'll meet
the
him.
unsung hero of the
We'll
movie.
meet him eventually, but
It's either him or Miss Perky are the unsung heroes
Oh
of this
my
movie.
God,
I
Miss
can't
Perky.
decide who.
like I get the dad, but Miss Perky's a fucking creep.
I love her so much.
As Cameron is getting introduced to all the different groups, Gabrielle Union and Larissa Olenek walk by, and he's like, "Who's that?" Or referencing Larissa Olenek, who is Alex Mack, but she's in this movie, Bianca.
Yeah.
Okay, I hate
I
fucking
so-
Cameron right here.
Me too.
Right here.
Me
I
too.
burn, I pine, I perish. Okay, Tom, chill the fuck out.
Oh my God.
Because Tom, 500 Days of Summer, immediately like that. He sees the girl, I'm in love. And I'm like, they just keep on making him do that, don't they?
Well, he's good at it.
He is. And then he's like, no, dude, there's definitely more. Michael's like, yeah, she's vapid and shallow and whatever. And I want to call him Tom, but no, Cameron. He's like, no, dude, you're not seeing what's there, man. And then they walk by and she's like, well, I like my Skechers.
She's like, there's a difference
between like and love. I like my Skechers, but I love my Prada backpack. And Gabrielle Union, who is Chastity, goes, but I love my Skechers. But that's because you don't have a Prada backpack.
Oh yeah.
It's heavily implied later that she is totally faking being that vapid.
It's pretty funny.
I don't know if it's actually implied, but that's what I got out of it.
Incidentally, Gabrielle Union, I did not realize this until today. I was checking IMDb, and Gabrielle Union is supposed to be a sophomore in this movie, and she kind of looks like a sophomore. Like I buy it. She's 27.
Whoa, really?
Yes, 27.
Jesus.
She's pushing 30.
She doesn't look it. She still doesn't. Fuck.
No, she looks so young. It's weird.
27?
27
And
years old.
She is almost right for a high schooler
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That's
She looks
wild.
right at home.
Let's get to English class. I believe it's English class. Hosted. Taught
Hosted.
taught by the worst and best teacher all at the same time. He's so fucking fantastic, this dude.
Kinda, yeah.
Who is this guy?
I do not know his name.
His
but
name is Daryl Mitchell, and he plays Mr. Morgan.
He absolutely kills it in this movie.
He was Tommy Weber in Galaxy Quest.
Oh fuck, that's right.
Oh, he was in the Country Bears.
Not exactly an unmissable epic, that one.
The Black Knight. Do you remember
The
that
Martin
shit?
Lawrence movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Black Knight. So they're studying The Sun Also Rises, which I'm like, you're going to teach a bunch of high schoolers that. But then you always have that one person who's like, this is so deep and beautiful. And then one person telling the truth and going, yeah, fuck Hemingway. He was an abusive alcoholic. Just what is he trying to pick up on Picasso's leftovers?
No, trying to nail Picasso.
Yeah, nail Picasso's leftovers.
They're not wrong about Hemingway, but dismissing him as a writer is also wrong. Like,
Yeah, that's her
'cause
thing.
Hemingway is a fucking amazing writer. He was a douchebag, but he is an amazing writer. His writing is fantastic.
You also have to admit that there's always that one person that just uses
Oh, yeah.
these generic descriptive words,
Yes.
not actually saying anything, but
That's absolutely true. Yes.
it's just a long way of saying, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
What does Joey? We meet Joey. He's the bully, the villain. What
He's-
does he say? I can't remember what he says. As he's talking shit to Kat, and he's like something about a loner who has no friends. Ha ha ha. And then the teacher looks at him and goes, "Someday you're gonna get bitch slapped, and I'm not gonna do a thing to stop it." And I'm like, oh my god, that is so funny.
This teacher is so deliberately confrontational. These teachers are written so absurdly. It's fantastic.
And they're almost the best part of the movie.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that.
It's
Especially
fantastic.
this teacher. He makes me happy. He really likes to send Kat to the office, though.
Oh, yes.
He's like, just get the fuck out of here. And, you know, she goes into the office. Ms. Perky is still working on coming up with names for hard cocks and shit.
I don't think we mentioned that she's
No,
working
by
on
the way,
a tawdry
yeah.
romance novel in her spare time.
And she's like saying it out loud because it's a movie and you got to do that kind of stuff.
She's looking for adjectives.
And yeah, she's like, what's another
Like
word for
throbbing, engorged.
what's another word for engorged? And her assistant's like, I'll look it up. And then Kat goes in and what she says, tumescent. Yes. Perfect. Stop being a fucking bitch.
Literally. I mean, not in
is-
so many words, but that is, she literally calls her a bitch.
A heinous bitch.
A heinous bitch.
She doesn't call her that. She's just like, heinous bitch is the term used most often to describe you.
Which is a real backhanded way to call her a bitch.
And then Joey, you know, we cut back to him. He's being a creep. This is all set up. This is the first like 5 minutes of the fucking movie, by the way.
Oh God, we haven't even passed the cold open at this point.
No,
pretty much.
because you almost need all this stuff just to fucking.
it's so
get-
fat. This movie never
Yeah.
stops. It just goes from one beat to another to another to another to another.
His whole motivation throughout this entire thing is going to be to fuck Bianca, who is Kat's little sister, of course. Cameron is annoying his balls when he's pining over Bianca, and Michael says, just put it in your spank bank and move on. And he's like, well, no, but I mean, the spank bank part, yeah, but
The dialogue in this movie is really
the lines
fucking
are
good.
so fucking good. Like, this is such a quotable movie.
Which is probably one of the reasons that it is one of the few movies. I have a list of 4 movies, and we've done one of them already, and I probably mentioned it at the time. That was Pulp Fiction. Movies that I have listened to more than I've seen. Because for a period of about 10 years at my old job, I had these movies on CD that a friend had made for me for some reason. I have no fucking idea why.
That's weird.
And I had a CD drive in my computer, and I would sit at work and listen to them because I could like basically time out my day by how many times I listened to these movies. You know, like I could be like, okay, well, I got, such and such minutes to go. I'll pop this in, and then when it's over, I'm ready to go.
Well, and the fun thing is, they're visual, yeah, but the audio.
It's dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
Like the talking is 90% of what's going on here.
Yeah, it's like you could do that with like Clerks. You could do that with.
Yeah, Clerks would have been a good
Yeah.
one. But the funny thing is because of it, I had to really focus today on watching the movie because my natural instinct was to just do other shit while listening to it in the background because that's how I'm used to listening to it.
Show this movie some goddamn respect, okay?
I know, it's a good movie. It deserves it.
Oh, and it's its 25th anniversary, by the way.
Oh shit, that's right.
It's 2024.
So,
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 25 years, man.
God damn.
I hope we get a nice 4K or something like that.
Cameron's gonna learn French to teach Bianca French to tutor her so we can get in those pants. You can be underwhelmed and you can be overwhelmed, but can you just be whelmed? Well, I think you can in Europe.
I actually looked that up one time.
Me too, but I can't remember.
It has something to do with like waves flooding a boat or something
oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah. That
I
actually
don't know.
sounds like a nautical term.
Yeah.
And then, remove head from sphincter, then drive because Michael's a fucking dipshit and has his dumbass little scooter. And then he has an accident and fucking almost kills himself, but everybody thinks it's cool, so whatever.
This high school, if you haven't seen the movie, I know this is a really weird. It's weird that we treat the audience like they haven't seen the movie, but we tell them they really should see the movie because we're spoiling fucking.
You should
everything.
absolutely see this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, where the fuck have you been for the past quarter century?
It's called Stadium High School for a reason because it's got this stadium, but it's like built down inside of the ground, like it's dug down into the ground, overlooking the fucking Puget Sound.
That makes sense because it's not called Stadium High School. It's called Padua.
Yeah, but the real high school is called Stadium High School. And yeah, and so like he goes over the hill and then down the stadium, the stadium outer wall, to crash just outside the fence, I think, or something like
Everybody
that.
has cute Shakespeare names too.
Yeah, Patrick Verona.
Patrick Verona. What are Bianca and Kat?
Their names
Stratford.
Yeah, Stratford.
right.
Yeah.
So we meet Dad. Dad's great. Dad's a little over the top, kind of a psycho. I kind of get where he's coming from, but he
Well,
is.
keep in mind he's also an obstetrician.
Yeah. So he delivers babies all day long. Kat gets into Sarah Lawrence. That's a whole other thing. No dating until
He's going through some dad separation anxiety for sure.
just a little bit, because we also learned later that the wife left, and that just naturally causes him to like clamp down on his
Yep.
two remaining ladies in his life. Bianca's like, I want to start dating, Joey, this thing. And the dad goes, do you know what this 15-year-old girl was saying when I was pulling like a 10-pound baby out of her or whatever? And Bianca's like, I'm a crack whore who should worn a condom. And he's like, close, because that's probably what she said. And he's like, no. She said, I should have listened to my father. And she's like, no, she didn't.
No, but she would have said that if she wasn't so doped up.
He's
This
so
guy's
funny.
comic timing
I love
is
him.
perfection.
Rachel says, she's like, I understand the dad so much better now as an adult. And I'm like, to some extent, yes. He's still too much.
He's a bit much, but like given the history
Yeah.
that he has and his profession, because he sees teen moms all the time, like
You
every
gotta,
day.
right? Yeah.
Every day he's dealing with teen moms. It's understandable. Like he is not. This is not the same thing as Kirsten Dunst's brother from.
Oh yeah, just
Get
being
over it.
possessive and weird
Yeah,
about shit.
like the way overly concerned about this girl's what she's doing with her hoo-ha. Like he actually has like some legitimate concerns that and he maybe overdoes it, but it's coming from a good place, and he is really fucking funny.
And this scene sets up the whole conceit of the movie, actually. So he's no dating until you graduate, all that shit. But then he imposes a new rule. He says, Bianca, you can date. And then he points to Kat when she does. And then Bianca's like, fuck that! Nobody wants to date her. She sucks. Kat says something like, I'm not going to fucking do this shit just so you can go out with Joey Eat Me Donner.
Julia Stiles' comic timing
She's
is
great.
fucking amazing.
Do you know
too.
she originally auditioned for Bianca?
Yes, and Bianca auditioned for Kat.
I can't imagine those two playing those
No,
roles at all.
Neither can I.
Larissa Oleynik has always been like super sweet in everything that I've ever seen her
I
in.
cannot imagine her any other way.
No, she's Alex Mack, right? I don't know if that's a show that you've ever
No,
laid
I've never
eyes on.
seen it.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it,
Yeah.
but only from you, and I've never gotten context for it.
And she plays, oh god, I can't remember her fucking character's name in Boy Meets World, but she's a good girl that Sean goes out with.
She's also in Third Rock
is
with
she?
Joseph
Oh,
Gordon-Levitt.
nice. I did not know that. That's a show that I want to watch at some point.
She played Joseph Gordon-Levitt's girlfriend.
Oh, of course.
For a brief period, anyway.
Yeah, she's always been super cute. I've always been into her. Again, age appropriate at the time because I was 12. Leave me alone.
Yes, keeping in mind we were age appropriate back then.
First French lesson though, so Cameron now he's he's gonna ask her out in French, but he's a dumbass, and she's like, I can't. He's like, I know your father doesn't let you date, but I'd like to take you out at some point because learning French like this isn't as fun as maybe learning it with French food. She's like, well, my sister, if my sister dates, then I can date, and he's like, oh cool, do you like sailing? Because blah blah blah. She's like,
boy, he jumps all over it. He just goes from 0 to 60.
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, we can fuck now, cool.
More like 0 to 69, am I right?
She's like, yeah, she's like a fucking mutant weirdo. And he's like, yeah, he's trying to be nice. He's like, yeah, I noticed she's like antisocial a little bit. And plus, she's a bitch. I'm like, no, Bianca, you're a bitch.
Well, they're kind of both a bitch.
Kat is a sympathetic character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bianca isn't until she eventually is, but she's not. She sucks.
No, she starts out as kind of a bitch, yeah.
Which she gets called out on eventually, which is nice.
She turns around. But that's what that's what you want to see. You want to see character growth and development.
Yeah.
Except from Joey.
So it's time for a montage of trying to find some weirdo who will actually go out with Kat. And it's just a bunch of guys that wouldn't have a chance anyways.
That scene is so fucking bad if you think about it. It's like 5 of these guys standing there, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, so, would any of you guys be interested in dating Kat Stratford? And then it cuts to one of the kids sitting in like a folding chair in front of the other 4 and reacting. And then we rotate through all 5 of these dudes.
Yeah, some of them are screaming, some of them are laughing, one of them is talking about fucking sheep.
So, like, theoretically, the way that is shot, he had to deliver that line 5 times, and each of them had their reaction moment, and we're standing in the background of everyone else's reaction moment. But still the fat guy, when he says it,
Yeah.
still screams as if
that's a
the
good point.
idea is brand new to him.
This movie's weird. But I'm here for it.
It's
okay.
I mean, it works because you don't think about it when you're watching
I
it.
never thought about it ever
But
until right now.
yeah, if you think about it, it's like, all right.
And I have been watching this movie for 25 goddamn years. Fuck, I'm old. And then we cut to a science class. We're dissecting frogs, which is gross on its own. But Cameron notices. Cameron and Michael are together in this class because they just have all their classes together, apparently. He notices Patrick. And Michael's like, don't look at him. Seriously, he will fucking kill you. That guy, I heard he sold his liver on the black market for a pair of car speakers. The
rumors about Patrick are kind of hilarious.
Which is a setup for a really funny joke later. So then they go to talk to him in shop class, and it doesn't go well. Like, Cameron walks up to him and goes, hey, and then you just hear bzzz, and then you look down, and then I guess it cuts, and then there's just a hole all the way through his French book, which he continues to use through the whole movie.
Patrick is drilling through his French textbook with a butterfly bit, just boring out this like inch and a half wide hole. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
So they decide they need a backer. So they're gonna somebody stupid with money is what Michael says, to pay Patrick to go out with Kat.
Cut to Joey,
because these people are kind of terrible. Michael goes and talks to Joey, and he's like, hey, so he gives him the thing about Kat being able to date and all that shit. And he's like, if you give this guy some money, blah, blah, blah. And keep in mind that when we first cut to Joey, he's drawing tits on a lunch tray.
Really poorly.
Because he's a fucking idiot.
No artistic ability in this kid.
And then the whole time Michael is talking to him, he's drawing a dick on his face. I love that. I have a dick on my face, don't I? And then Joey talks to Patrick because he's gonna pay him to take out Kat. And Patrick's like, yeah, sure. He's like, no, dude, I'll give you $20 if you go over there and you get her to go out with you. And he's like, well, then he starts doing this thing. This always freaked me out when I was a kid because I'm like, where the fuck did you? I was taking it a little too seriously. I'm like, where'd you come up with that? Because at first it's like, we should want to go to the movies. That's $15. I'm like, okay, $7.50 a ticket. Yeah, that makes sense. And then she'll want
popcorn.
She'll want Raisinets.
53.
Yeah, 53.
Raisinets. Call it 75.
I'm like, wait, what the fuck happened? That's not how much that shit is. I can get into a movie by myself. Well, by myself and buy popcorn, soda, and candy for $20.
Yeah, I could just see 12-year-old you really struggling with that scene, not understanding what he was going after.
Yeah, just tiny bit. Tiny bit.
Adorable.
He dickers him down to $50, like $30, and then it cuts to Kat on the soccer field slamming into some chick and knocking her out. Then he's like, okay, 50, I guess.
He tries to lowball him first. He's like, $20.
Yep. So Patrick immediately, he's like, oh, I'm going to go to work. He walks up to her and says the worst fucking opening line in history. Hey there, girly. Like, maybe that shit works in Australia, you freak.
If you want to get a lady's attention immediately, call her girly.
You got her attention. And she's like, yeah, dude, go fuck yourself.
Not all attention is good attention.
No. That's what the conversation boils down to. And then it cuts to, we see Cameron and Michael kind of watching that exchange. And Cameron goes, we are screwed. And Michael goes, no, I want to hear you upbeat. And then Cameron goes, we're screwed. I always loved that. That made me so happy.
Interesting. I did not notice it until this viewing. I mean, I'm sure I noticed it, but it never registered. Kat refers to Patrick as Screwboy,
Screwboy, yeah.
Which, because it's a PG-13 movie, they couldn't say fuckboy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that term went back that far. I thought that term was way more modern.
I didn't even think about it because I'm just like, it's a PG-13 movie. Obviously, we can say bitch and shit. We get one fuck. We got to save it for later, even though we don't get one in the movie.
No, I'm pretty sure Miss Perky said it, but they CGI'd it out.
Oh, God, did they?
Did you notice that when she says, same little asswipe shit for brains as every other school,
no.
Her mouth, goes weird, and the voiceover goes, she goes, same old asswipe shit for brains as every other school. They fully, CGI'd her mouth to change to fit asswipe shit for brains.
It's like when they edited out the beer bottles in that party scene and Get Over It.
Can't Hardly Wait, yeah.
Oh, and Can't Hardly Wait and Get Over It. They did the same thing. Oh shit,
that's right. That's right. They did that and Get Over It too.
That's so
I forgot
fucking
about
dumb. High schoolers drank back in the day, guys. I don't think they do as much anymore. I think they're...
The only reason they were allowed to show Kat drinking in this one is because she then hurts herself and embarrasses herself.
Back at home, Bianca's going to talk to Kat, and she's like, why are you so hostile? She's like, I'm not hostile. I'm annoyed. And then this is where we learn that Mom left, and Bianca's wearing her pearls, and Kat's not so into that, and fucking...
Kat's clearly still dealing with some shit, which is understandable. She's a teenager. Of course she is.
She was, a lot older, too. She was a freshman-ish when Mom left, so she had a lot more time. And then Patrick stalks her at the music store. They're like right outside. She comes out and she pulls out a CD out of her bag, and he's just kind of like, "Hey, baby."
And that's the music store where I bought my second guitar.
And this is where one of the most iconic lines from this movie comes. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's like, "I think you really want me," and she's like, "Yeah, no, I want you. I need you. Oh baby, that thing." There's like, how the fuck did they even cut together a trailer for this movie? Because every 2 seconds there is a trailer line.
I know, it's insane how many fantastic lines are in this movie. I mean, even the line that's coming up with Joey, where she's like, "Do you mind?" He's like, "Not at all."
Not at all.
Walks by like the smug dick he is.
Yeah, so he parks right behind her, and then he does the thing. She's like, "Do you mind?" He's like, "Nope." And then she or not at all, whatever. And then she just backs up right into his car, and Patrick is laughing his ass off. He thinks this is the funniest fucking thing in the world, because he already doesn't like Joey. Yeah, and she's just like, "Whoops." And then he's like, "You fucking bitch." And then it cuts to her dad. "Whoops. My insurance doesn't cover PMS." Oh,
I can
God.
watch this movie again right now.
It's got so many iconic lines, like right now here, when they're talking about Sarah Lawrence again.
Whoops! My insurance does not cover PMS.
Well, then tell them I had a seizure.
Is this about Sarah Lawrence? Are you punishing me because I want you to stay close to home?
Aren't you punishing me because Mom left?
You think you could leave her out of this?
Fine, then stop making my decisions for me.
I'm your father, that's my right.
So what I want doesn't matter.
You're 18, you don't know what you want. And you won't know what you want till you're 45, and even if you get it, you'll be too old to use it.
I want to go to an East Coast school. I want you to trust me to make my own choices, and I want you to stop trying to control my life just because you can't control yours.
And then, of course, Bianca comes in. "Did you just maim Joey's car?" And she's like, "Yeah."
She could not give less of a fuck. I love it.
So Patrick fails at getting in Kat's pants. Joey's like, "Watching that bitch fucking fuck up my car does not count as a date." And he's like, "If you don't get any, I don't get any, so get some." Ugh.
It is a good douchebag line, though.
Ugh.
Especially his delivery. "If you don't get any, then I don't get any. So get some."
Ugh. It's so fucking gross.
It is. He's such a scumbag. I love it. Apparently, sweetest guy, like, according, like they were all really good friends.
Oh, well, that brings up a good point. Guess what he's up to now?
Oh my God. No way. Of course he's the one.
He's a creepy cult leader.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, like, charisma.
I don't know the specifics exactly, but yeah, he's part of a cult, and he's like the head of the cult.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, it does take charisma to be a cult leader, though.
Definitely does. And he's got it. He's always the bad guy. He's always some douchebag.
How did they not see it coming?
Yeah. Did you ever watch I'll Be Home for Christmas with Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
No, I don't think I ever saw that one.
You don't need to. It's got Jessica Biel in it too, who was hot back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. Hot back in the day. She's still hot, but you know what I mean.
She's not hot anymore.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
But he's also the douchey other guy in that one. While you were blowing your nose there for a second, I did look up a little bit about it, and it's called the Full Circle Movement. What does he say? He says, Keegan, his name is Andrew Keegan, he does not consider his spiritual movement, Full Circle, a cult at all. Instead, Keegan explained, Full Circle is a religion based on synchronicity, time. That's what it's all about. Whatever the past, some other time, it's a circle in the center is now. That's what it's about. That was very confusing, but he said that.
Okay. So, I mean, he doesn't consider it a cult, so it definitely can't be.
Yeah.
Because no cult leader has ever denied that their cult was a cult. That's never happened.
Oh, Full Circle followers practice their quote unquote advanced spiritualism at Keegan's command. It's not a cult at all. Yeah, so there you go. The Full Circle movement. Fuck yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyways, we're going to move on to another iconic line here when Cameron and Michael go back into the shop where Patrick almost drilled through Cameron's balls. And they're like, hey, we set this whole thing up so Cameron could get the girl. And then Patrick's like, what is it with this chick? Does she have beer-flavored nipples or something? And it's not like at her expense, which is nice. He's just like, what the fuck? Why is everybody so into this chick? Oh, and Cameron gets all defensive. He doesn't even know her. It's so irritating. But it's also so high school.
It is very high school. Yeah.
You don't know her.
I definitely still roll my eyes pretty hard at Cameron every time I watch this movie.
Michael has also set up a party at Bogey's house as kind of like a revenge for kicking him out of the NBA thing. It's a really cool shot when they drop these flyers.
The sexy boy montage?
Yeah.
That's really good.
By the way, these flyers say free beer. Why is everybody bringing fucking alcohol to this thing? Everybody has cases of alcohol.
Who brings beer to a party that advertises as having
Oh my
free
God.
beer? I know, that always irritated me.
And then Joey is showing Bianca his headshots. They're exactly the same, except one of them has a white shirt, one of them has a black shirt. And this is another fucking moment. It's so funny.
This is I'm pretty sure a trailer moment when he's like, you know, what do you think? And she's like, pensive?
Damn, I was going for
She's
thoughtful.
going for thoughtful.
They went and visited Patrick to, like, you know, to get him more on their side instead of
Right.
Joey's side. And they're going to learn stuff about Kat so he can use it to get her to go out with him. So Cameron's going to hang out with Bianca to learn some stuff about her. They end up going through her room and shit, and like there's a picture of Jared Leto in her room, so she likes pretty guys. Fuck Jared Leto. He's a cult leader too. There you go.
Yeah, but do you remember him in the 90s? He was a
No.
pretty boy in the 90s.
I didn't remember him at all
Party
in the
of
90s.
5 days.
Fuck Party of 5. I was like 6 when that show was on. I didn't fucking watch
Oh,
Party
yeah,
of 5.
Party of 5, man. Jared Leto, he was the prettiest of the pretty boys.
I'm sure he was.
He was the Jordan Knight of his era.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, you didn't know I was doing deep cuts, did you?
I had his first solo record.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
even realize he had a solo record.
At least two of the new kids did. I had Joey McIntyre and Jordan Knight's solo records.
No Donnie Wahlberg solos?
No, I don't think he had one.
I don't know.
At least not that I knew of. If it didn't play on TRL, I probably didn't know about it at the time.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't think you're alone on that one amongst people of your age group.
No, TRL was the shit, man.
It was quite popular.
Even
I was aware of it, and I was like 20 at the time.
It was amazing.
I'm not going to go that far. I really can't imagine anything with Carson Daly being amazing.
I love that, like, looking back on it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, people voted for this. This is a fucking weird
People
show.
spent time. People racked up charges on their phones to call in and vote.
And the internet, that was like early internet voting.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did do early internet on that, didn't
And the mix of shit that ended up on that show was so weird. Like, usually it was like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC at number 1 and 2, like fucking with each other, and Britney and Christina,
they?
obviously.
No surprise there.
But then you'd have like Tom Green, his song, "My Bum Is on the Whatever," you know, the Bum Bum song, and Eminem was always there. Newfound Glory showed up several times.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
Blink
me.
182 was
I'm sure
there.
Bowling for Soup was there at some point.
They might have been. I think that was a little after.
That's where they got the idea for the whole thing with Bill Nighy's character in Love Actually.
Well, yeah.
That was basically TRL.
I've seen
maybe
that now,
it was
so-
an actual. Maybe it was the actual British version. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was the official one because I didn't grow up in Britain in that era. But yeah, it was basically TRL.
And that's semi-relevant because, you know, that was this time. At this point, this movie came out, I was as deep as I ever got into my TRL boy band pop music days.
Story checks out for you, yeah.
Very shortly after this, I would abandon the boy bands and go for nu metal instead.
Dark period in all
For
of
like-
our histories.
For like a minute. I don't know what the fuck happened.
New metal was the boy bands of rock.
Yes. And I go back and some of it's actually pretty good, but
Some of it holds up.
Yeah.
Not much. But then, in fairness, not much from any genre holds up over the years.
No, yeah, you go like I said, I listened to that Britney Spears. I listened to her first record. It's fucking horrible. There's 3 good songs, and
I
it
don't
is
think I've ever actually listened to her first record. I think the first album of hers I listened to was Oops, I Did It Again.
and that one might be better. Max
Oops,
Martin
I Did It Again is a pretty fucking great song.
Max Martin was on some shit when he wrote that first album. I'm like, what is this crap? Fucking Sometimes, Baby One More Time, and Drive Me Crazy are all pretty decent songs. The rest of it's garbage. I don't know how the
I
fuck.
heard Hit Me Baby One More Time the other day and did not love it. I do like Oops, I Did It Again, though.
But can you at least see why people do
No, I
like
get it.
It's
Yeah.
like this really in your face. It's a fun song.
It's okay. I just feel like the production and everything it was maybe fine if you hadn't heard Britney's later work, but her subsequent work was so much better.
Well, there you go. Exactly. And then I'm just like, and Oops, I Did It Again is a pretty good fucking song.
Yeah, it is.
So they go to this biker bar. Cameron and Michael, they go to this biker bar that Patrick's hanging
That
out
apparently they just let kids into.
in. I think at this point you could at least get into a bar when you were 18. Because
No, because I was over 18.
really,
Yeah.
I could get into bars when I was 18
All right,
in
you lived in
Montana. Yeah.
Yeah. I lived in the Tacoma, Seattle area.
Well, maybe they just didn't like you.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I think there's a tall guy in this scene in the background with long gray hair.
Was that you?
No, but I'm pretty sure he's the same guy as was in There's Something About Mary in the prison scene.
Who's Mary?
Oh fuck! I keep forgetting you haven't seen
I haven't
that
seen it.
masterpiece. It is a really good movie. It's a movie about like toxic relationships and obsession and like men just being fucking creeps, but it is pretty funny.
There is a part of this movie that shows a man actively not being a creep.
Is that the scene where she's drunk and
Yeah.
he's like helping her out?
And he says it. He's like, and the next day he brings it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, progressive.
For the 90s, like, hey, awesome. I'm crediting that to this being written by women. If this had been a Weinstein production, Jesus.
I was thinking the same fucking thing. I'm like, God, any other movie, he would have been all over her. Or somebody would have. He might not have because we have to like him, but yeah. Anyways, okay, so we're at the biker bar, right? Patrick is drinking. He's 18, maybe older. Who knows? Who knows how old this fucking guy is? And then Michael walks up to him and goes, hey, okay, before we get started, should you be drinking alcohol when you don't have a liver? Which is so funny. His delivery is perfect too.
That's a good one. This kid, oh my God. Like all of these, there's a lot of good deliveries in this movie. Like there really are. Like I said, the dad I think is probably the best of them, but everybody's so fucking good in this.
And this is where they tell Patrick how to get Kat. You know, he can't be a smoker because she'd die before dating a guy who smokes. And there's one more problem. She likes pretty guys. And then
his move where like, I'm not a pretty guy, and he stands up and like gets bigger.
Are you guys telling me that I'm not a pretty guy? And they're like, no, you're beautiful, right? I didn't know. Like, oh, gay panic.
All right.
The 90s gay
That's
panic.
better.
But yeah, you can definitely tell it was written by women because that would have maybe gone a lot differently. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not gay, but you're pretty. Oh God,
there would have been a lot of no homos getting thrown around.
I love this line. I've always loved this line. She likes angry girl groups of the indie rock persuasion.
I love his response even better. He's like, so what you're saying? I got a something and
listen to chicks who can't play their instruments. Yeah, I'm like, wow, Patrick, get the fuck out of here. And so he's got to go to Club Skunk. That's her favorite band is playing there.
Okay, now this, I feel like there was more to this.
There's black underwear.
Where he says, no, not that, but where he says, I can't be seen at Club Skunk. Like, I feel like there was more
There
to
is
that.
something there, and I thought it was a gay bar for my entire life until recently.
I was still kind of convinced that it was a gay bar, but I didn't think that was the reason that he said that. Unless, like, there was more dialogue where he's like, it's a gay bar, it can't be, something like that. I don't know, but it feels like there's more that needs to be said about why he can't be seen at Club Skunk.
I've never really fully understood, but she's got a pair of black underwear, if that helps. And I thought he was going to give his signature Patrick, like, the fuck look, but he doesn't. So apparently
Michael's like, it couldn't hurt.
So now Kat is at this concert at Club Skunk, looking good. She's in this cute little tube top with her friend, who is also super cute.
Apparently, in the original draft of the script, there was some really dark shit about this this girl.
Her obsession with
her
Shakespeare
obsession
and shit.
With Shakespeare, like she had attempted suicide multiple times to be with him.
Weird. I'm glad that shit got cut because
it's for the best.
This movie's mostly fun. You don't need that.
It would be one thing if we were doing like a Heathers thing, where this was like super dark and cynical, but it's still kind of a romance.
Yeah, which I've never seen Heathers, but I know the thing.
Well, Heathers is cynical as fuck. It ends with the school blowing up.
Oh, nice. Spoiler alert, dude. Jesus.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
The fuck's wrong with you?
I didn't say who's in it at the time. I didn't say who dies and who doesn't.
So this club is full of women. It's just women. There's one dude, and he's working the bar.
And it's a lot. There's a lot. It might not be a gay bar, but there's a preponderance of gay women there for sure.
Listening to angry girl groups of the indie rock persuasion.
Angry girl groups like Letters to Cleo.
Letters to Cleo, yes.
He brings up Bikini Kill later, and I was like, that seems like it would have been a better choice.
Bikini Kill or the Raincoats.
I understand Bikini Kill probably didn't want to be in a movie like this.
No. Why would Bikini Kill want to be in a movie like this?
That's fair.
So Patrick shows up there and he sees her. She looks like she's having fun for the first fucking time in the whole movie, which we might only be 20 minutes in. Who cares?
Yeah, she looks like she's not actively pissed off with someone or something for the first time.
She's seeing her favorite band. This is not what concerts look like, everybody. So if you watch this is not what they look like at all.
No, it's way sweatier.
No matter what gender anybody is in that crowd, you are getting crushed up against that fucking barricade.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's given everybody space in that right in front of the stage pit.
Yeah, you're not dancing like presumably you're not dancing like that.
No.
You can come to my band shows and dance because nobody gives a shit. I love every look that these two deliver to each other is fucking. They act with their eyes so well. So Kat goes and she's gonna go get some water, and Patrick's over there. You know, he knows the bartender. He's like, "Hey man, what's up? What the fuck are you doing here?" And then he ended up ordering a drink. Kat gets water.
When she catches a glimpse of him,
And just that, like, she doesn't do the sound, but I can hear the sound. You know, the ugh.
Yep, it's perfect. It's perfect. Although she does make the choice to approach him. He's not approaching
She does.
her.
He's just kind of hanging out, and she's just like, seriously, why are you fucking, like, why are you here? And he's like, hey, you want to shut the fuck up? You're kind of ruining this for me, because she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, they're no Bikini Killer, the raincoats, but they're not bad. And she's like, you know who the raincoats are? Like, because she's got that hipster level of like, I know things and nobody else does.
Oh yeah. It's almost like she's a teenager or something.
Yeah. And you know, they have a little back and forth. The music stops right when he's like, I've never seen you look so sexy before.
Yeah, the second everything drops to zero, he's like, you look so sexy.
And that's a bummer because that's embarrassing and that has happened to all of us.
Wish I could say I hadn't been there, but I have.
And he's doing a good job of flirting with her right now, like to the point where she's kind of smiling and he's like, you should go to this party with me. And she's like, no, or some shit. And he's like, is that a no? And she's like, no. Is that a yes? No. Oh, wait, it's the other way around.
Order.
Is that a yes? No, but she's like giggling. And then, is that a no? No. It's a pretty cute scene.
Yeah,
I like it.
She's into him a little bit.
Yep.
She's into him a little bit.
And then you cut immediately to the party night, and Bianca's trying to sneak out right behind her fucking dad. This chick's so dumb. She's like, Daddy, it's fine. It's just a small study group of friends, also known as an orgy. I'm like, cool down a little bit there, Pop.
I love that he puts the
belly.
pregnancy belly on her. That's fantastic.
There's one other line right before he does that, though, where Gabrielle Union's like, it's just a party. And he's like, and hell is just a sauna. But yeah, she can't go because technically she can't go because Kat's not going until she finally convinces Kat. But this is like Bianca being weird. She's like being a bitch to her sister, but then Kat relents and says like, okay, I should do this for my sister. I'm gonna be a nice sister. I'm gonna go so she can have fun.
It's a nice moment for Kat to be a good sister to Bianca, and Bianca doesn't appreciate it for the right reasons, but she comes to eventually.
She opens the door and Patrick's right there, and that is after Bianca puts on the belly. He's like, I want you to wear the belly. Daddy, no, please.
He's like, I knocked up your sister.
Even Kat's surprised to see him. He's like, 9:30, right? She's like, yeah, whatever, I'm driving. Feminism. Women can drive.
Hey, keep in mind, this is the peak of the Weinstein days, so happy for what we could get.
This is a New Line movie, too, though, so at least Weinstein's not involved.
Directly involved, yeah.
It's technically a Disney movie.
Technically.
Shit. So Bianca's a Disney princess.
I'll take it.
My note is, why would everybody bring their own beer to this fucking party? Anyways.
I completely agree with you. That has never made sense to me, but I'll give it a pass because I love the movie.
Yeah, it's like, whatever. It's not even a big deal. It doesn't even matter. Michael is at the party. We missed a scene where the Michael and Cameron are getting ready, and Cameron's like obsessing about Bianca because I noticed her shoes and this and how they don't really go together or they match perfectly or whatever. And she said it really meant something. And he's like, dude, shut up.
He's like, she said, and I quote, it really meant something.
Okay, Tom, chill the fuck out.
Oh my
in
God.
about 8 years.
Back, you fucking. Again, character who I hate for all the reasons I hate myself.
You're allowed to be weird like this in high school.
You are, yes.
Now, you should stop, though.
Yes.
See what I did there, everybody? That was a joke. I subverted expectations. That's me explaining the joke so it's no longer funny.
Best way to do humor. Yeah, for sure.
We get to the party, and Michael is he's shooting his shot everywhere he can, and he's like, I'm thinking of getting a Tercel. It's a Toyota. It's got a big back seat as these girls walk away. And then
Oh my God.
then Kat walks in, and then this is another
I
funny
gotta
line.
admire the chutzpah in this guy.
Oh, dude,
Like,
absolutely.
He's going for it. Like you said, heroic openings.
Then Joey runs into Kat just as she walks in, and he's like, oh shit, you're here. And she's like, oh my God, what was that? Did your hairline just recede? And he actively stops, looks up, and like touches his head. Like, oh, that's so funny. And then just Joey's being super skeezy. She's like, dude, stay away from my sister. And he's like, okay, but I can't guarantee she'll stay away from me. Ugh.
Very on brand for Joey, though.
Ugh.
And apparently for the guy who played him.
Blah.
Nowadays, anyway.
And then Michael's back at it. Lord of the Dance.
Oh my God.
He's trying. I admire
do.
it.
I have nothing but respect for it. Like he's going out there, he's putting it out there, and he's not being a creep about it. He's putting it out there. If no one's picking it up, all right, he moves on.
It was the same girl, I think.
Was it?
I think it might have been.
Oh, I thought it was a different girl.
'cause
I thought he was just like.
I swear he said Heather both times.
Oh, I thought he was just all over the place.
So Cameron meets Chastity, who's Bianca's friend. Chastity's a huge bitch too. Oh my God, because Bianca's like, "Hey, this is my French tutor, Cameron," and he's like, "Oh yeah, we have art together," and she's like, "Neat." And then again, she doesn't make a sound, but I can hear it. Like I can't explain it. It's like but like she shakes her head.
No, it's a
But,
look. It's a look that immediately puts not a groan, but yeah. No, I know what you mean. I just can't articulate it.
Yeah,
right.
it's hard to, like, I've seen this movie so many times over the past 25 years, I can picture it perfectly.
Yeah.
So Bianca, however, and she's hanging out with Joey, and she's quickly learning that he is not interesting and not smart.
Yeah.
She is learning the hard way.
Joey is putting his vapidity out there hard.
He's like, look at this. He's doing all these poses. This is for socks. This is for underwear. This is for whatever.
Did
and they're
you
all
see
the
what
same.
I did there? Did you see how they're different?
She's like, yeah, sure. And that's because that's all he can talk about is his fucking modeling.
Yeah, he seems like a just conversational bonanza. This
And then
guy.
when she stops being interested for a second, he's like, he turns around and goes, okay, I'll show you guys. Just he doesn't stop.
He's the less, and I can't believe I'm saying this, he's the less interesting version of the guy with a guitar at a party.
Kat is drunk. Patrick's just a cool fucking customer. She's like, he finds her like several times throughout the party, and she's not really hanging out with him. He just he walks up to her. He's like, hey, what are you doing? She has a drink in her hand. She's like, I'm getting wasted, man. Isn't that what you're supposed to do at a party? And he's like, I don't know. I say, do what you want to do. I'm like, fair point.
Doesn't she say, you're the only one?
Yeah, you're the only one. She does eventually drink a little too much.
Yeah, she drinks him. She's throwing him back hard and fast.
Probably reverts back to her freshman brain because she jumps on the table and starts dancing like a weirdo. And not that
She's going through. She's
Yeah.
She's drinking down some shit right now, and this is some unhealthy coping that's going on here.
And this is where, it's a PG-13 movie in the 90s, so you can't have kids drinking. You can have them drinking even less now
You can only have them drinking if they suffer the
if
consequences.
something bad happens.
Yes.
And something bad does happen. Maybe not really bad. It could be bad. She stands up and bumps her head on this fucking chandelier,
And then falls.
falls right into the arms of Patrick.
Fortunately, he's there like a fucking hero.
Yep. He's going to rescue her because she might have a concussion because she bumped her head apparently hard enough to fucking knock herself out. And then as he's like helping her outside, Cameron comes in and he's like, dude, the deal's off. Fuck. She's into Joey. This is another good piece of advice. I enjoy this.
The way it's phrased is a little off.
No, but
like-
Patrick's being cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, like the first thing he says is, it's like, dude, first of all, Joey's not half the man you are, which is awesome because he likes this kid.
It's a nice thing to
Yeah.
say because clearly Cameron, he's got confidence issues. There's no question there. But the way he phrases it is, don't ever let anybody tell you don't deserve the things you want.
Yep.
And he's not wrong. It's just that, like, when you're referring to a person, maybe, like,
Yeah.
maybe don't refer to them as the things you want, like, no, again, it's a good-hearted scene. He's trying to push him in the right direction, and it's not like it ever gets rapey or anything like that.
No.
It doesn't. This is a movie that everybody's mostly doing the right thing here. Aside from, Patrick, obviously, he ends up feeling bad about taking the money and everything like that. But But yeah, like okay, like you should go after the things you want, but remember, if it's another person, they are a person and they have a right to themselves. So
Women are not things. That's fucked up. And you're right. I never really thought about it that way because I just took it to mean like everything in general, not Bianca specifically.
it's just one of those things that like I'm a father of 2 boys, and so I worry about phrasing on things like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to make sure I phrase this right so you don't misunderstand me. Women are not things for you to go after at, you're like, they're people. You need to treat them with respect.
And then Patrick is trying to help Kat, but she's ever the feminist because he puts her arm around his neck and she's like, I don't think so. And she falls over because she's too fucking drunk and not like her head's still spinning.
And she's only going to
probably.
get drunker because she did like 2 shots like 3 minutes ago, and they take like 10-15 minutes to start hitting.
And then despite the fact that she's drunk, the swing set scene is kind of cute.
It is.
He's like trying to keep her awake because if you have a concussion, sleep is bad. And she's like falling over and he's catching her, and then he's trying to tell her something, or she's trying to tell him something or some shit, and then she like passes out. Then he kind of like shakes her awake, and then they make eye contact, and she's like, your eyes have a little green in them, and he's like, oh shit, I think I like her.
And then she barfs on his
And then she
loafers.
pukes on him. Oh, yeah, it's so cute. And then Chastity's a fucking bitch again, and she abandons Bianca because they're about to leave, and Bianca has to be home. But Bianca doesn't give a shit about the Joey part. She's just mad that her friend fucking abandoned her for this dickhead. He's like, we're gonna go back to my place and do whatever he says, and she's like, I can't. Damn. Like that's pretty funny.
Yeah, the Chastity. This is where she really does start to take a turn.
Yeah.
Like earlier, like with Cameron, it's like, okay, it's just some guy.
She's just catty.
hitting
Yeah.
on my friend. Fuck him. But yeah, now it's like, all right. She's clearly got some issues with Bianca.
Patrick and Kat, they kind of fell in love for a minute. Like I said, she goes like he's taking her home and they're talking a little bit. He says, Bianca, I know everybody's all crazy about your sister, but she's without. You're the real cool one.
And that was all Kat needed to hear.
Yep. She goes in for a kiss, and then he's like, I think we should do this another time. And I'm like, oh damn, guy.
That was really progressive for the 90s.
And I never even thought about it until I watched it this time. Yeah.
He's like, no, at the time, like, you almost had to have it explained to you, like, she's drunk. She's not capable of making the best decisions right now. You should wait until she's sober and see if she still feels good about it. Even I would have had to have that explained to me at that time. So again, I'm crediting that back to female writers, and good for you. Awesome. Great choice. I love it.
And she's not happy about it. So she gets out of the car, storms away, and he's like,
She's
fuck.
spurned.
She's mad.
He
Oh, man.
spurned her advance.
Her inhibitions are down now. Like I'm a bitch because I need to be.
Her armor's not up.
Cameron and Bianca then pull up, and Cameron basically this whole thing is just him calling her out
hard.
Well, in fairness,
no, I get it.
he's calling her out
get
on her
it.
bullshit. Are you always so selfish and self-absorbed? Like, I really liked the part, but like
I don't mind him having it out.
No.
I don't like the fact that he just sulked the entire drive back. That's the part I don't like.
Like there was no conversation. You can imagine there's no
you
conversation.
Can see him drive up and he's just like, and like he clearly hasn't said anything because now he just has to have it out. And I'm like, all right, fine. That's what you should have done right from the beginning.
So yeah, he's just like, are you always this self-absorbed and shit? And she's like, yes, because she is. She's kind of a bitch, but she needs.
I love that she's self-aware about it.
Yeah, this is where she starts to come
made me
around.
like her
Yeah.
more.
Yep, she starts to kind of make the turn in this scene, but she also I think likes it when dudes call her out on her bullshit because he's like, you gotta fucking stop being such a bitch. What the fuck? And then she just grabs him and kisses him. I do like the fact though that when she left the party, she's like, can you give me a ride home? All sad when she basically abandoned him at the party for that douche.
I'm glad she feels bad about it because it was a dick move. She should feel bad about it.
But in typical high school young man fashion, she kissed him and then she walks away and he's like, I'm back in the game. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Fucking dork.
That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. She could have shit all over my heart for the entire night, and then at the end of the night she turns it around. I'm like, all is forgiven.
In class on Monday, the party was on probably Friday, Saturday night. Everyone is giving Kat shit when she walks into the classroom.
Oh boy.
Oh, she's not happy.
That's That's the only sequence that I really, really hate in this movie is the White Rasta.
You
saying
swing to the
his
rhythm
line.
of me art.
That line and then the cowboy line immediately after it while he's tonguing chew into his lip.
Ew.
I'm just like, fuck off. Just fuck off. Just take me to Joey and him giving her shit. Like that makes sense within the context. These two characters are so over the top, I can't accept them.
I think we forgot to say why she got sent to the office in the first classroom scene. It's because she was
kind of like she was talking some shit
Yeah.
about Joey or no, she was talking shit about not having any
Yeah.
female writers.
and then the teacher was like,
And Kat, I want to thank you for your point of view. I know how difficult it must be for you to overcome all those years of upper middle class suburban oppression. Must be tough. But the next time you storm the PTA, crusading for better lunch meat or whatever it is you white girls complain about, ask them why they can't buy a book written by a black man.
That's right, Mom.
Don't even get me started on you two.
Anything else?
Yeah, go to the office. You're pissing me off.
What? Mr. Morgan.
Later.
so he's going to he delivers this fucking sonnet from Shakespeare in the coolest way possible.
Let's open up our books to page 73, sonnet 141, and listen up. In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for than thee 1,000 errors note. But 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who in despite of you is pleased to dote.
Before he does that, he's like,
He's
not
giving
that,
it what he's got.
not that I give a damn, but how was everybody's weekend?
That Joey's like, why don't you ask Kat? And he's like, shut up.
Shut up, Chachi. Yeah.
That's right. Shut up, Chachi.
And then his assignment to them is that they're going to rewrite the sonnet in their own. They're going to rewrite their own version of the sonnet. And Kat raises her hand. And he's like, "Yes, miss, I have a fucking opinion about everything." And she's like,
No, he doesn't even turn to
He doesn't turn.
notice her.
"Yep."
He's just walking and
He just knows.
says it because he knows she's got something to say.
And she's really into it. She's like, "Do you want this in iambic pentameter?" Fucking poetry bullshit. And he's like, "You're not going to fight me on this?" She's like, "No, I think it's a really good assignment." He's like, "Get out," because he doesn't know what to do with that.
The gist of the poem too is like basically like
Oh yeah, what is it? Because I don't fucking understand it.
I think what he's basically saying, and I'd have to listen to it again to be 100% sure, but my takeaway upon this listening was, I don't think you're hot, but there's something in you that I'm just inexplicably attracted to.
Okay.
That's the gist of the sonnet, as far as I can tell, is like, you're not good looking, but there's something inside you that my heart connects with.
So now Bianca is all into Cameron, and Kat's friend is obsessed with Shakespeare. This is the first time we get the mention of Shakespeare. It's a little weird.
Oh no, she's got issues, this girl.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
I'm so fucking glad they cut out the rest of that shit.
When I read that thing about the suicide attempts, I was like, no, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
And
this girl's seriously unhinged.
yeah. And Michael's into her, and
I get it. She's
she's
cute.
very cute, but he has ulterior motives. He's not all
Yes,
about
he
that
does.
shit right now. He talks, he's like, I have a friend. I have a friend that, could use some help or whatever.
And
But
he likes your friend.
And he likes your friend, yes. Patrick and Cameron, though, they're talking, and it's so dumb. And he's like, Patrick's like, I thought you were all out and stuff, all out of the deal. And then Cameron's like, yeah, that was until she kissed me. And then he's like, where? In the car.
The drop in Patrick's expression, like, how fucking stupid are you?
And Kat, of course, really hates Patrick for rejecting her, I think. Then we get the arrow in the
Yeah,
butt scene.
She's pissed.
The arrow in the butt scene where Joey...
That scene, oh my
where
god.
he's just allowed to walk in front of all these people lining up to shoot fucking arrows.
Everybody is lined up with their bows at a full draw.
Yeah. And he's just allowed to walk up to him. And of course, Bianca gets distracted, shoots the coach in the ass because Joey's like, hey, I got to talk to you. And he's gonna he wants to ask her to prom and shit.
That's the most ridiculous sequence, I think, in this movie, probably. Is
It's
the
funny,
arrow
though.
in the ass. It's funny. It's not as bad as the Japanese grill sequence.
Oh, God.
Get over it.
Yeah.
But it's the closest this movie gets to that. Well, I guess maybe the flashing scene too. Those
Yeah.
two sequences are about as close as this movie gets to that stuff.
And then Joey decides to up the payment to Patrick. He's like, I'll give you $300 fucking dollars, because Patrick's like, yeah, I'm not into it, man.
And he's like, "Keep your fucking money, you piece of shit."
But then he ups it. Then that's when he ups it to $300, and he's like, there
Patrick's
you go.
like, "Oh, I'm on welfare." I need it.
No shit. Kat can maybe play guitar. He's kind of like, Patrick's kind of like stalking her around town, I guess. She's playing this Squire Strat, this white thing. It's a Squire. It is a
Yes, it
Squire.
is. I actually wasn't 100% on that because I've only got the DVD. I don't have, like, it's not high def. But yeah, the IMDb trivia says it's a Squire.
And then he even follows her to the bookstore, you know, the feminine mystique, and he's like, you're not as scary as you think you are. You're not as badass as you think you are, blah, blah, blah. We're in the cafeteria. It's Michael, Cameron, and Patrick. And Michael looks at him and goes, sweet love, renew thy force. Patrick looks at him and goes, don't say shit like that to me. People can hear you. And then Cameron says, dude, just sacrifice yourself on the altar of dignity, whatever the fuck he says.
You embarrass the girl. Sacrifice yourself on
Yeah.
the altar of dignity and even the score.
And then he walks away. And then Michael goes, don't say that kind of shit to him. People can hear you. And then another one of the most iconic scenes from the movie, Patrick singing I Love You. Is that what the song's called?
Oh, it's You're Just Too Good to Be
You're just too good to be true. Thank you.
Which was supposed to be, this is something I only just learned today as well. It was supposed to be I Think I Love You, but Scream 2 had just come out, in which Jerry O'Connell sings that to Nev Campbell.
Yeah, he's singing. He's getting chased by security guards and shit, and it's just funny. And apparently Julia Stiles, or Kat, really likes a grand romantic gesture.
Who doesn't love a grand romantic gesture?
Me. It's weird.
You've just never had somebody give one to you. That's what it
That's
is.
true, but I don't like it.
You would if somebody ever bothered to take the time to do it.
You know how much attention I like on me? Very, very, very little.
From
Yet.
the right person.
Yet
Has to be the right person, obviously.
Yet I do this, and I'm in a band where people stare at me.
Yeah, you want attention. You
Don't
want
really-
attention as much as I do.
I don't
act like you
understand
don't.
myself. Let's get to the detention scene. Another iconic scene. This movie's just fucking full of them. So Patrick is in detention, obviously, for fucking...
This fucking scene, Jesus.
Yeah.
This is uncomfortable to watch now. I'm not gonna lie. This,
Detention
this
only
makes
lasts-
me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, detention only lasts like an hour. He could have just hung out there.
The idea of sneaking out of detention, like the dude's not gonna notice that desk is now empty.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe he'll be so shell shocked by seeing the teenage boobs that he was not interested in.
That's true. He was not going after him. I mean, and he was, in fairness, completely appropriate when she was talking about his member.
Yep.
He was like,
And she's like, I didn't mean your member. And he's like,
let's
hope not.
hope not.
So Julia Stiles goes in and I have a plan for the soccer game. If they're looking left, misdirection, all that shit. He's like, I taught you that. Also, it's the same coach who got shot in the ass.
This is how fucking sheltered I was when he confiscates the weed from the kid, and then he walks by the
Grabs the
Cheetos, and
Cheetos.
he's like, and I'm confiscating these too. I never realized he was confiscating those because he was gonna smoke the weed and
Yes.
he wanted them for later. It never occurred to me. I just thought he was stealing Cheetos.
Until like this watch.
No, I mean, like,
Okay.
it was years. It was probably fucking 10 years or something.
See,
like
that's
that.
fine for me.
It probably
I
took
was
me till like 2009 or something like that.
I was
before I realized.
12. You were old.
I was
You-
an adult. I was
Oh,
an
man.
adult when this movie came out.
Yeah, so she flashes this dude. Patrick sneaks out. Then they end up on this dumb pedal boat. They're going to go on this cute little date. They're going to get to know each other.
Is it just me, or does it seem like the pedals on that pedal boat are not connected to the to the paddle?
Yep, sure does, because they're supposed to all be going at the same pace, right?
Yeah, and they're also supposed to be moving through the water, and they are not.
Are they not?
No, they're just sitting there, pedaling at different rates.
How about paint ballooning? So this looks like not fun at all, and I can't help but going like when they kiss, like, ew.
Oh, yep, I have that.
I hate
exact
that
same thought.
every time.
It's like that scene in Raw where they're covered in paint and then they start tonguing each other in the shower, and it's just all paint. And I'm like, God, that can't taste good.
Was it paint or was it blood?
No, it was paint. Don't you remember the scene where they?
I don't, because I only
they cover
watched
the-
it that one
They cover
time.
the dude in yellow and they cover the girl in blue, and they say, "Don't come out until you're green." And she bites his lip off.
Patrick and Kat, they get to her house. He asks her to prom, and she's like, no, thank you. And he's like, come on. She's like, no. He's like, come on.
She immediately gets very suspicious.
Yeah, a little too
Like,
quick,
yeah,
almost.
Like I would have maybe tried to draw that scene out a little bit more, but I'll forgive it because the whole rest of this movie
Yeah.
works so.
He asks twice, and then she's like, what's in it for you, man? And he's like, damn, nothing. The pleasure of your company,
And
which is
he
obviously
the worst liar. in
which
the
is obviously a
history
lie.
of bad liars.
It's a half lie, I think, because at this point he is falling for her.
He's feeling guilty about taking the money, though. He totally
Oh,
is.
yeah.
I mean, that's why he told Joey, keep your money, you know, like he was feeling guilty about it already, and then he actually took the money.
And then I think he gets kind of stressed out because he's supposed to be a non-smoker right now and immediately pulls out a cigarette when she
Why
starts
would you
confronting
carry
him.
around cigarettes if you're playing a non-smoker?
He's so dumb. That's
true. He is a
that's
little
actually the one part. This is the one part of the movie where I'm like, we could have maybe done a second pass on this one.
I'm fine with the scene. It's not perfect, but again, I'll let it go just because everything else works.
I was gonna say one kind of bad scene in a series of great scenes is
it's
fine.
still a fantastic movie. It doesn't ruin anything for me. I do always ask about. I do always kind of internally go, why were you carrying that cigarette, Pat?
They're also going through like rumors. They're like dispelling these rumors about
That's
the
very
stuff
clever. I like
as
that
they're
stuff.
walking to the porch, and we learn early on that when she first gets sent to the office, the counselor goes, "Oh, this guy's testicle retrieval operation is going well, if you care." And she's like, "I still maintain that he kicked himself in the balls," but apparently we learn that this guy groped her in the lunch line, and so she kicked him in the balls.
And then Patrick's like, fair enough.
Yeah, rightfully so. I'm okay with it. But then a bunch of his stuff, like, I didn't kill anybody, all that. I wasn't in prison. I still have a liver. All
And
shit.
then she's like, what about, where were you last year? Because I know the porn star story is false. And he's like,
Do you? And then he doesn't answer, I don't think.
No, he doesn't answer
No.
till the dance.
And then we get back to the French lessons with Bianca and Cameron, and she is better at French than him now.
Oh, she's gotten good.
And he's still using the fucking book with the hole in it, which is funny.
Call back.
In French, she's saying, "Hey, you're an idiot. When are you going to ask me out?" He's like, "What the fuck? Where's that?"
I don't think
fucking
we've
thing?"
learned that part yet.
And then earlier on, again, Kat and her friend, they were like, "We're not going to the dance," but the friend's like, "I want to, but I don't have a dress or a date. Fuck."
Oh, yeah, the friend actually definitely wants to be going to that dance.
Yes. So she doesn't have to fucking
What's
kill
her name?
herself for Will Shakespeare.
That's right. Her name's Mandela.
Mandela. Someone left a dress in her locker.
And it's very Shakespearean.
Very Shakespearean,
but
yes.
hip. It's Shakespeare with a modern contemporary twist.
Oh, we cut to Dad, and Dad's working out, and I feel this in my fucking bones. He's doing that crunch machine thing, and he's like, 7. He's like, that's good. And then Bianca comes in, tells him about prom, and he's like, I'm not letting you go to the dance with that hot rod named Joey. And she's like, what's a hot rod? Like, I'm not entirely clear on that either. What the fuck does that mean?
That one hits hard. That hurts.
Why? Which part?
The what's a hot rod?
Why?
Oh, because I'm at that age where I'm saying shit, and my nieces and my nephews, they look at me like, what?
See, I've taken it the other direction. I'll take all the slang that they use and just throw it out at them for no reason.
Just using it wrong. Like, no cap.
Bruh, you're bugging.
On God, bro.
Let's go. On God, bro. Do you follow that guy too who does the fucking, or do you come
I've just randomly come
Yeah.
across it.
the small dick, big dream sweater? I really like that one.
Nope, that's a new one to me.
Bianca's pissed because Daddy won't let her go to prom unless fucking Kat does, and Kat won't go to prom because Kat's Kat.
Yep.
Bianca's watching.
She's like, it's prom. We'll dance. We'll kiss. It's not the crisis situation you seem to think it is. He's like, kissing? Kissing?
Oh, yeah.
Kissing is not what keeps me up to my elbows in placenta.
Do you think those Dawson's Creek kids sleeping in each other's beds?
Dawson's River kids.
Dawson's River. That's right. Oh man.
Which, incidentally, Heath Ledger went on to have a child with Michelle Williams, who was
Oh,
from
yes.
Dawson's Creek.
I did not know she was in Dawson's Creek because I've watched exactly 0 episodes of that.
I only know because it was all over Rolling Stone and People and every other fucking magazine. Entertainment Weekly.
The Joker fucks Dawson's girlfriend.
Well, not that part. I'm talking about back in the Dawson's
Oh.
Creek days when I was 19 and 20 years old and I read I had a subscription to Entertainment Weekly, which, by the way, never paid for. I did one of those, free trial subscriptions.
And then they just
where you
never
get,
stopped sending it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
at a Sam Goody or some shit. And they sent it to me for years. It was like 4 years they sent me
Yeah.
Entertainment Weekly. I never paid a dime.
Same thing happened to me once. It was pretty funny. I think it was also Entertainment Weekly. Fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
What the
them. Maybe
hell?
they're just like, fuck it, I don't care.
It's got to be that they're making so much money on advertising at the time. Again, this is in like 2002.
Yeah, what's a fucking magazine?
I miss magazines. I'm not gonna lie. Every once in a while I get a magazine in the mail. Like somebody subscribed to a magazine called Town and Country, which I've never actually read an issue, but I have a stack of them because they subscribe to it at my address. And so I have a stack of these magazines, and I can't bring myself to throw them away. but it's also not one of the magazines I've ever wanted to read. I have an issue of GQ with Ryan Gosling on the cover. I bought that specifically. We were at Goodwill and Storm brought it over and was like, Dad, check this out. And I was like, sold. And he's
Phil-
like, wait, you're seriously going to buy that?
Oh, you've told me that
Fucking
story
A,
before.
I am.
Fill in your spank bank.
Oh God, he's so sexy in that one too.
And he's funny.
I know,
like-
he's the full package. He's a full meal deal, baby.
I don't love Crazy Stupid Love because the message in that movie is fucking disgustingly weird.
I'm with you on that, but I still love it just for...
And he's supposed to be like the despicable character, but he's not. He's the best character in the movie. Especially the one thing that makes me so happy in that movie is when Steve Carell opens that fucking Velcro wallet. You know the reaction, don't you? Oh, It is so perfect.
Oh my God. Now I just want to go home and watch that.
I'll watch that scene, just that shot even. That is so funny.
I'll watch the movie start to finish. I hate the thing with the kid at the very end. That's the only thing that I
God.
really don't like. Everything else on that, like the relationship between his Steve Carell's ex-wife, Julianne Moore's character, and Kevin Bacon.
It's fair.
It's wrong. I mean, it's wrong that she cheated.
yeah.
She shouldn't have cheated on him.
But
and
it's
he
fairly
should-
wholesome because he's
But
not a
yeah.
bad guy.
Yeah, like he's not being a scumbag, and the marriage was clearly falling apart. Like I said, divorce. If you're on the fence, do it.
that fucking that reaction just makes me so happy. I can't even do it. It's so fucking funny. Never,
Okay, back to this movie.
never have I ever seen anybody eat a piece of pizza looking that hot before. I just gotta say. Anyways, so Bianca is pissed. She's watching The Real World, Seattle, by the way. Haha. But Kat comes in to talk to her. So this is the scene where it's revealed that Kat and Joey dated in
Yes.
ninth for a month, and they fucked.
They were freaks.
They had sex, and Kat decided that she didn't want to anymore because she wasn't ready, and Joey dumped her because he's a dickhead.
I'm watching that scene today, and she's like, "You did what?" And Kat's like, kind of does that face, where she's like, "Oh," and then Bianca's like, "Oh my God," and I'm just like, nowadays, she's like, "Oh, that's right," and Kat's like, "Well, only once. It was, it was in ninth. Well, we only did it once, and then I told him I wasn't ready." And I'm like, nowadays, if modern kids, it'd be like, we only did ass to mouth.
Yeah, so
Modern
then
kids are freaks, is what I'm saying. This new generation is depraved on a level we have never seen before.
lucky.
Those lucky bastards.
And then Bianca's all pissed because she's like, Kat, why the fuck didn't you tell me any of this? And she's like, well, dude, I wanted you to make your own decisions about this guy. I'm like, fair enough. But it's the same conversation that I had with my mom about one of my ex-girlfriends. I'm like, Mom, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me? Because
Yeah.
after we broke up, she's like, yeah, I knew. I'm like, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me? She sucked so bad.
Yep.
She's like, would you have listened? I'm like, no, but you're still supposed to tell me. Anyways, it's prom night. Let's go to prom. Let's bring this motherfucker home here.
Okay.
Kat has decided to go, of course, because she's got to go, right?
Yeah.
Yay for Bianca and Cameron.
She's trying to be a bro to her sis.
Yep, Dad's not into it. He's like, God damn it. Why did I make that rule? This rule's the worst thing that I ever fucking came up with. And then there's Cameron. Cameron shows up at the door, and he's like, oh, man, Bianca, you look so good. And the dad's like, I know every cop in town, bucko, or whatever, as they're leaving. That's the same as, like, I have guns. Or
On brand for his generation, though,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
We get to prom. Save Ferris. They have a live band called Save Ferris playing.
Apparently, that's a real band, too.
It is. It is a real band.
Real ska band.
Because,
So,
yeah,
remember ska?
the mid to late 90s was huge for ska.
Yes.
Every movie like this had a fucking ska band in it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Except for Drive Me Crazy. I think Drive Me Crazy had the Donnas in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it. I know I've seen it. I just don't remember it. Speaking of Melissa Joan Hart, I just watched like 2 weeks ago or something, Holiday in Handcuffs with her and Mario Lopez, where she kidnaps Mario Lopez and pretends he's her boyfriend because her boyfriend dumps her as they're headed out, just before they're about to head out to her parents' house. And she's like the disappointment and the black sheep of the family. She's working at a diner, steals the owner's gun, and kidnaps Mario Lopez.
What the fuck?
Takes him out because the chateau or whatever it is they're at is in the middle of nowhere. And she takes him out there. She has him tied up, handcuffed in the car. She goes inside and says to her parents, yeah, he's got this thing, because they've never met her boyfriend before. And she's like, he's got this thing where when he gets really nervous, he pretends that he's been kidnapped. So if he says anything like that, just go along with it. You know, he's just trying to be funny. He's just trying to relieve some stress. And this is an entire movie. It's an entire movie. And guess how it ends?
They fall in love. Of course they do.
You're goddamn right they do.
I've seen the thing.
It's
cover.
a new holiday classic for me. I have to own it and watch it every Christmas now.
So even though Kat and Patrick didn't go together, and she said she wasn't going to go to prom with him, she decided to go, and she's looking all pretty in her dress, and they meet up, and
he's all pretty too.
Like, hey, where'd you get the dress? Oh, something I had lying around. Hey, where'd you get the tux? Oh, something I had lying around. Har, har, har. Despite him smoking and shit, she still likes him.
I get it.
Because she definitely did get a little suspicious a little too quick, and I think she's like, oh, fuck, well, maybe.
Hey,
maybe
I
I'll-
was out of line.
Yep.
I'm sorry I got suspicious. And he's like, you're forgiven.
Well, yeah, because I'm like, why is she the one apologizing for questioning his motives when he did, in fact, have bad motives at the beginning?
I get where they're both coming from. The right thing to do would have been for him to come clean there, but I get it. You know, that's the story.
So Joey then goes to Bianca's house to pick her up. Dad opens the door, and he's like, hey, I'm here for Bianca. And then he just slams the door in his face. It's really funny.
He just fucking glares at him the whole time. Not a word, not a move, not a blink, just click right in his face.
And then Mandela then meets Michael at the prom. He's all dressed up like Shakespeare, whatever. She's like, I'm here to meet William.
No, she is running around the place.
Oh, that's right.
Panicking.
Where's
that she
William?
Can't find William. And Julia Stiles is like, oh, Mandela, please don't tell me you've progressed to full-on delusions.
Yep. Nope. Michael's there, dressed like a Shakespearean douchebag, and there you go. And then I really like this moment here because after they go off and they do their dance thing, and Save Ferris is playing. The song kind of stops, and Patrick just kind of stares at Kat. It seems like it's weird, but I know exactly what he's waiting for. He's waiting for her reaction to the chick from Letters to Cleo fucking popping up.
Yep.
And she's all happy, and he's like, I called in a favor. I'm like, what does that mean?
It means the screenwriters do not want to explain why she's there. So we're just using his mysterious past to.
His mysterious
Maybe it
past.
has something to do with why he can't go to Club Skunk anymore.
So he wasn't really on his uncle's couch eating SpaghettiOs last year.
Turns out it's all a lie. It's all part of his cover.
With this going on, Bianca is in the bathroom with all the other girls getting away from their dumb dates. Probably.
It turned into the scene from Dumb and Dumber there for a little while, which
Wait.
was a strange artistic choice. But all right,
what
I'm
scene
on
from
board
Dumb
with
and Dumber? That
it. The
I'm.
diarrhea scene, don't you remember? Where
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jim Carrey gives Jeff Daniels the slacks.
So Bianca's in the bathroom. She runs into Chastity, and she's like, "Oh shit, Chastity, why are you here?" She's like, "Oh, don't think you're the only fucking sophomore at the prom. God, you're a bitch." I
Oh
hate
God,
you."
she says it's so bitchy too. She's like, "Oh, don't tell me you thought you were the only sophomore."
And then Bianca should have said, "Don't tell me you were Joey's second choice."
Bianca's not that much of a
No,
bitch,
she's not.
although she would have been totally justified.
Joey brought her, and she's like, "Oh well, it's fine. Joey was just gonna sleep with you and never talk to you again, anyways." I'm like,
He
fuck
even
this
had a bet
guy.
going with his friends.
Ew. Except technically he didn't
He did.
because
Well, no, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
'cause
He said he was doing this one for pleasure.
he's doing it for
not
fun.
for money.
Because this is not She's All That.
They had to distinctify.
Very
themselves.
clear on that one. So Joey comes and Kat hears him say, like, Joey comes to like pull Patrick aside and be like, "Dude, what the fuck? I didn't pay you to take out Kat so Bianca could come to the prom with that cheese dick."
Cheese dick.
And that's not the important part here. That's pretty funny and kind of what the fuck.
And the
but
important part is Kat is standing right behind him when he says, "I didn't pay you to bring Kat."
except she's sitcom distance away and there's music playing. How the fuck did she hear that conversation at all?
Because she's got that perfect youthful hearing that I can only fantasize about anymore.
So she is not happy, and rightfully so. Patrick should have come clean about it.
He should have.
He should have just been like, yeah, it started out me taking money, but I actually like you, so can we just pretend like that's not a thing? Joey then... Okay. What the fuck happens? I don't remember. Obviously, Kat runs away because, she's pissed. And then...
Michael leans over to Cameron and goes, "The shitteth
Yeah.
hath hitteth the fan."
F. That's right. That's right. And that's when Cameron goes over there. It's like, hey, what the fuck's going on or whatever. And then Joey punches Cameron.
No, he's like, hey, Joey, let me... Boop.
oh, yeah. And he's like, you're here with that bitch. And then Cameron's like, fucking, you crossed the line, homie. We're going to fight now. I'm like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Cameron?
Joey just bops him in the face, and down he goes.
Yeah. I just want to know what Cameron thought he was going to do. What he thought was going to happen.
I think Cameron is a teenager and is suffering from that teenage delusion that you can't possibly lose if you're in the right.
Because you've watched too many John Hughes movies and
Clearly. Have you seen how he talks about Bianca? Come on.
yeah, in about 8 years, I see how he talks about Summer too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happens. Him and Bianca
changes
break
his
up. He
name.
changes his name, and he's still fucking obsessed.
Yep.
And he moves to California.
Yep.
Except Tom is supposed to be from New Jersey, so I don't know.
Well, that's the backstory.
That's the backstory.
He gives everybody.
Oh shit.
Maybe
Anyways.
he did move to New Jersey afterward. You know. Like
Oh, maybe.
Bianca
Yeah.
broke his heart, and he had to. Oh no! Shit! He was just about to go to college in New Jersey because it's
Oh,
such
yeah.
a famous college town.
So Bianca then, loaded with the news that Joey was just gonna fuck her and leave, and that he broke up with her sister after she fucked him, punches fucking him right in the nose, and he's like, shit, Bianca, I've got a nose spray ad tomorrow. She's like, that's for making my date bleed. She punches him again. That's for my sister. And then she knees him in the balls. She says, that's for me.
And I have not been a huge Bianca fan for this entire movie, but I'm on her side in this.
Yeah.
movie.
Oh no, 100%.
I'm like, yeah, all right, kid, I get it. I like you now.
And then, she helps Cameron up, and then,
I
man,
didn't hate her. I
no.
just, like she was nothing special. She was without.
Michael got knocked down at some point too by Joey, by the way.
Oh no, because he came in first.
Yeah.
And Joey just grabbed him, chucked him, and whoa, down he goes with perfect comedic timing.
But Mandela helps him, and Bianca helps Cameron up. They kiss, haha. It's adorable. Their story's fucking done for a minute. Patrick though, he's talking to Kat, and he says, he didn't care about the money. He cared about her. But I'm like, no, you should kind of rephrase that, sir. You should say what I said. And it was about the money at first, but then I got to know you.
He wants to be honest, but he doesn't want to make himself look bad.
Yeah. Yep. And
because he already looks pretty bad
yeah.
in this moment.
And he looks even worse when he grabs her and tries to kiss her in that moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on there, Patrick. Let's
Like,
don't be weird.
I get the instinct from the movies, but wrong moment, bro.
And then we cut to the day after prom. I felt like it should have been like several days after prom, but it's the next day.
Yeah.
And Cameron comes to take Bianca sailing, and Kat doesn't want to go because she's sad, of course. And then, as Bianca
He's
and
just sitting on the front
Yep.
porch drawing.
they're walking away, and he's like, "Is she gonna be okay?" And Bianca's like, "I hope so." And then their story's really done. They're gonna go off and be a couple for like a month.
Finally. Yeah. They've got another until summer begins, and he goes off to get a summer job at Cape Canaveral or something, and then goes to college.
Dad then comes out to talk to Kat. And this is the conversation that we all needed for this whole movie, because Dad's been such an overbearing kind of psycho a little bit.
I mean, I get where Dad's coming from. I get it.
He asks her about, he's like, hey, how was prom? Was it hopping or whatever the fuck he says? And she's like, parts of it. And he's like, which parts? Thinking that Kat's going to say something weird. She's like, oh, the part where Bianca beat the shit out of some guy.
Bianca did what?
And he's like, what? Yeah. And he's like, what? Surprised that I might be, or scared that I might be rubbing off on her? He's like, no, yeah. He's impressed.
And then he tells her what he should have been telling her this whole time. But, Dad's got to come
Yep.
to it in their own time. I understand.
That he's basically afraid of losing both of them because she's very independent and has been probably about the time since her mom left. And then he says, when you go off to Sarah Lawrence, I won't even be able to watch the game. He was using the baseball metaphor. And then she's like, wait, when I go to Sarah Lawrence? And he's like, yeah, don't tell me you changed your mind. I already sent a check. Oh, it's so nice.
And then she gives him a big hug.
It's a
very
big hug.
sweet.
Yeah, it's good. Then we cut to English class, or whatever the fuck this class is.
It's Kat getting kicked out class.
Yeah, it's the poem scene. It's the big poem. You all know it if you're listening to this episode,
my
I
God.
imagine.
I literally cry every time.
It's the 10 things I hate about you poem.
Technically, it's 13 things, but
Oh, is it 13? Okay.
I guess it depends on whether when she doubles them up, you count that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think she says "I hate" 10 times.
Oh, okay.
But she lists like 13 things.
Yeah, and she starts crying. I hate the way you don't. I hate the way I don't hate you, not even a little bit, not even at all. Oh God, it's so sad.
And then she leaves because she cannot make it to the end of a class.
No, she can't. And Patrick is also in that class. We learned earlier. He comes in like a second, and he's like, "Did I miss anything?" And she's like, "Just the fucking patriarchy thing." And he's like, "Okay, cool, bye."
That was
In
the
an early-
first
in
scene.
the
That
first
was
scene,
the
yeah.
first class.
Not now when he's supposed to be fucking serious.
This time he just kind of sits there stunned.
Yeah, he's sad, man. Then it cuts to I assume at the end of the day she goes to her car and finds a Fender Strat.
Yes, this one
Not
is
the Squiire.
an official Fender. Even my DVD could see the Fender logo on the head.
And she's like looking at it. She's like, "Oh my God, this is so cool. Santa Claus must have put this in my car." And then Patrick walks up to her and she's like, "Is this mine?" "No." "Who the fuck?" That was a stupid question.
I literally did not get until today that when he meets her at the car at the music store, they have vintage Fenders in the vintage Fender Strats in the window,
yeah.
and he says, "Ah, I like your car, vintage Fenders."
Oh, does he say that?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't hear that at all.
No,
maybe,
that's what he says. He says vintage Fenders about her car, but it's in front of a music store that sells vintage Fender guitars.
Aha. Well, all right. And he's like, "Some asshole paid me to take out this really great girl, so we got some extra cash
But I
lying
made a
around."
mistake.
But I made a
Fell
mistake.
for it.
I fell for it. Oh. Schmaltzy, but goddamn it, I'm in. I'm in at this point.
It's what you want for this
Yeah.
scene.
And they kiss, and she's like, "You can't buy me a." Oh no, she's like, "You can't buy me a guitar."
No, the best part is they kiss, and then she breaks the kiss, and she goes, "Hey, don't think that you could just buy me a guitar every time you screw up." Like that's what makes that special
Yeah.
for me, is that she breaks the kiss, because that's her character,
And then he's like, "But yeah, I know. But then there's always drums, bass, and maybe even one day a tambourine." And then they kiss again. It's
and
adorable.
then she breaks it again, and he's like, "Oh, shut the fuck up." Right back into the
And
kiss.
then we do the nice crane shot out, and then there's a helicopter shot. Do you know about this helicopter shot where letters
I did read the trivia today, but yes, tell the listener.
$500,000 every time this helicopter took off? So the Letters to Cleo band, they're singing this fucking song on top of the actual school, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we have to get this right." $500,000 a take.
Yeah, per take. They have to nail this, or it's going to be another $500,000.
I don't know how many times they actually ended up doing it. I hope it was only once. Fuck.
Neither do I. The trivia item did not say, but apparently, the gal from Letters to Cleo was like, "Oh fuck, I don't want to screw this up."
Because I'm guessing the budget for this wasn't much more than like $10 million, if that.
Oh, that is probably high. Yeah, it was probably a lot lower than that.
$500,000.
Although they didn't have any sets, they did everything was
Yeah,
an
on
existing
location.
location.
Which is helpful. That saves you a lot of money. This movie's almost it's almost over. I want you to
There's
want
some
me over the
outtakes
credits,
and
but
shit.
there's some outtakes showing that these people they're just having fun making a movie.
Yeah, apparently it was a very fun set, and it looks like it. Like you get that feeling just from the movie itself. Like, this seems like it would have been a ton of fun to make, which kills me because I lived in Tacoma in 1998. In the summer of 1998, I was installing siding in Tacoma. If I had not gotten married and had instead decided to pursue my passion for film, I might have been a part of this fucking movie, potentially.
And then maybe you wouldn't be here. Maybe I'd be talking about you on this movie.
So, yeah, I like to think that there's a parallel universe out there where I got to be a part of this movie, because it looks like a fucking fun movie to be on.
Well, you'll never know.
I'll never know.
You fucking missed it.
I'll tell you what, though. If it turns out we get to the end of life and we get to change like one thing and then go back and do it again, I'm changing that. That would mean that I didn't get married, right? So I couldn't have gotten married in order to do that. So that's what I would pick. I would be like, I want to like go on a path where I ended up working on 10 Things I Hate About You. And that would have set me on such a different path in life that I feel like it would have been, like that would be an interesting alternate version to live out. Obviously, I wouldn't know it, because in this scenario, like you wouldn't know when you came back. You just have to live it again. But like, if that's the only option, if the only option is you gotta go back and do it again, but you can choose to change a couple of things, because I feel like that would make sense given the amount of deja vu I experience on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, those are your past lives sneaking up on you.
I don't know. I wonder about it. It's probably not, but you never know.
Nope. It's just your brain firing off weird ass chemicals.
I know, but it's
But it
such
could-
a strong feeling. I like the idea as opposed to certain other ideas. Like, if I could make up my own, I don't know that I would necessarily choose that, but as opposed to other ideas that are out there, I find that one preferable.
Well, whoever had my life before me really fucked up if they chose this garbage for me.
Well, it's always been you.
So what was my past self thinking?
Technically, it's your future self. Again, this is the version I'm pitching, right?
Oh,
Like, This
okay.
is for my movie. You get to the end, you die, you go to the corporate offices, right? And then they're like, okay, now we're going to review. We're going to go over what happened. And then you get to change a few things. You get to pick a few key points that you want to change, and then you get to go do it again. And then you're like, can I please just die? And they're like, no, there's no such thing. It's just this forever. And so you're like, oh, okay,
That sounds fucking horrific. Why do you have to make it sad?
because we're in hell. This is hell.
This is the bad place.
This is the bad place. Come on, look at the world around you. Can you honestly say you think it's not?
Well, it's definitely not the good place.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the good place when I'm like watching Rocky and stuff.
No, it's just that hell is not utterly without enjoyment, because that would be too easy. They got to give you things to make you feel good in order to make the bad hurt worse.
Oh, that is true. So I have gummy bears, but
Yep.
then I have to go to work tomorrow.
Yep.
Anyways, do we have any final?
This got dark.
do we have any final thoughts on 10 Things I Hate About You?
I love this movie. I have loved this movie ever since the first time I saw it. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the theater. Yeah, I love it.
Me too. I have no notes really, except for that one scene where they're on the fucking porch. Other than that, I don't
Yeah.
really have anything to.
I could do with that one maybe being extended a little bit, just so the timing feels a little bit better. But that's really the only thing. I can't really think of anything else that I would complain about. Oh, that's right. And the White Rasta and the cowboy in that one scene. Those are the two things.
You'll be begging for him if you watch a minute of the show like I did.
I have no intention of doing that. I don't even know where I would. Probably Tubi.
Yeah,
Being honest,
it's on
probably
Disney
Tubi.
Plus, but
Oh, it is?
yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
it's an ABC show.
That's right. I keep forgetting.
ABC Family, sorry.
ABC Family.
So it's even worse. It just keeps on getting fucking worse. It's like we have a movie, ABC. Nope, not ABC. ABC Family. 10 Things I Hate About You. It's a great movie. Everybody should watch it. This is Universal. It's got a perfect cast,
This is a delight.
a
Who
great
doesn't
script.
Like this movie?
Yeah,
Who doesn't like this movie? I don't want to meet him.
you soulless fuck.
I don't want to meet him.
Yeah. No, thank you. So that's it. That's 10 Things I Hate About You. That's the first episode that we're recording this year in 2024.
Yes.
It's not the first episode that's coming out because we recorded some episodes last
the other episodes
year.
were recorded last.
Yeah. So you've heard Visioneers and you've heard Brink, and now you're hearing 10 Things I Hate About You, and that's, we'll be back next week with something. I don't fucking know or give a shit. You'll
Next
fucking
week, you mean 2 weeks?
in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however
Don't
fucking
be
long it
making
takes me.
promises that you can't keep there, Andrew.
Some social media nonsense. You can follow us on everything at the Shark Pod, of
Yes,
course.
you can.
We haven't decided what we're going to do on Patreon, but we have a bunch of shit for you to listen to on Patreon if you want to become a new subscriber and fucking do that. You'll have some time to
Yeah, there's
Catch up.
there's currently 36 episodes on Patreon, so that's definitely over 48 hours of content.
Patreon.com/SharksCrossHollywood. He keeps on stepping on me every time I try to do it, so now I have to do it again. Patreon.com/SharksCrossHollywood. We'll be back in a couple weeks
With something.
with something.
Don't know what yet.
Maybe I'll make the Rev watch some more martial arts movies.
Fuck you.
Who knows?
Okay, but it's got to be Van Damme or something. Like I need some Western martial arts in me.
There's this movie called Little Ninjas that's like the shittiest version of Three Ninjas that you could ever possibly.
Why would I don't even want to watch Three Ninjas. Why would I want to watch the shitty version?
Well, first of all, Three Ninjas is delightful, and you're a terrible person.
I already knew that.
We'll find out when you guys find out. So,
Yes, we will.
so we'll see you in a couple weeks. But until then, stay jawsome.